Cats starting DeLucia, Dylan Donnery, Tellers, Boss, Jermaine, Abbott, Bushbacher, Nadeau, and Siegel with play. And they'll face off at the X, and the Bobcats win control. Demitri George, who won all but one face-off from the X the other day on Wednesday, has been splendid at 70% on the season. The Bobcats come right back in and score again. They get back-to-back tallies, rushing in from the right side. Strong second half, third quarter in particular. And George wins that face-off back once again to C.J. Gallagher. And a 7-5 here at the Quinnipiac Lacrosse Stadium. And coming out of the timeout, again, Demitri George winning the face-off from the X. They've been dominant in that department, aside from the game's first face-off, where Manhattan had more for Manhattan. George jumped early. And a face-off violation will give Manhattan College. And the Jaspers, nice job by Demitri George, the junior out of West Simsbury, to win that face-off. The last time he did, he took it all. Grinnell had 7 goals. So far, Grinnell has played and started every game. This is only his second goal of the season. He had 15 in each of his first 2 years as a Jasper, as Demitri George, after winning the face-off X at the X. Their victories, they kind of left the opposition. They were hockey scores. Obviously very low scoring, and now Manhattan trying to get a 2-goal edge. And they have won 5 out of the 8 face-offs as the two teams switch sides. Demitri George wins that one back and will retrieve it. He has one of the 3 goals today for the Bobcats. Goal lead. That's a man-down goal. As the bench penalty on the Bobcats had ended, they were man up, really not for long. And now they're man up once again. We'll see if they can make this in. His 5th assist, his 6th point of the season for the Setauket, New York native out of Ward Melville High School. Behind 3-0, and the Bobcats, after they kind of lost their way in the second early on and were down 2, used a timeout. Now they've stormed back with 2, and they win another. And the Bobcats, who are down 5-3 on a 3-0 run. Demitri George wins that draw and then turns it over in the attack zone. They regain possession. And the Bobcats now 6 and 6-16, so 4 of a kind there if you're playing cards at home. And again, George won the draw, but Manhattan is able to get near to the possession, diving after that ball as it goes out. And it comes off. So a run here for the Jaspers. And they have a lead for the second time in this game. But again, the senior Brendan Krebs for Manhattan, the returning All-MAC goaltender, is out stopping Nick DiMuccio. But a slim margin there, 7-6, as the second half is underway. And the Bobcats, who own the face-off X in the first, going 12 of 15. The Bobcats get a quick first half. The Bobcats get a quick goal, and George again wins the face-off from the X, and retreating with the ball is C.J. Gallagher. Miller picks up his first goal of the afternoon, and it's an 8-7 Quinnipiac lead. And Demitri George wins the face-off from the X. Schwender, 2 goals, 2 assists. He has been brilliant from the midfield for Manhattan. And the Bobcats, their midfielder Abbott has 3 points in this game. Quinnipiac has 2 goals from Justin DeLucia as they will race to the front. Here's Demitri George on net. He scores his second. Demitri George puts the Bobcats ahead. Nicolosi scored 9 seconds, in fact, it took for the Bobcats to reclaim their lead. And that gives him 9 on the season as he looks to join Liam Walsh and Kyle Gukwa in double-digit goals with his very, very heavy. Quinnipiac men's lacrosse on GoBobcats.com. 9-9 the score after 3 quarters. The first half was really capped by runs from both sides. It's been much more back and forth. McKinney has himself a 3-goal day. And Demitri George will win it from the Faceoff X. Have given up in a game this season was back on their opening day. Early in March, they gave up 13 in a loss to St. Bonaventure in what was a non-conference game. And now the Bobcats, here's George. George nearly dispossessed. Ball is loose out in front. There's a flag. And it's won by George yet again. There's pressure, footsteps coming from behind by Brandon Bank. It's gorgeous weather and a really exciting game of lacrosse. And we're glad you're joining us as well. So they get set for the Center X face-off. And that one's a bit of a 50-50 ball. It's loose, and Manhattan, I think, for just the 4th time specialist today, who has won 23 of 26 from the X, wins that one cleanly. He'll give off this time instead of trying to rush up. Face-off of the day from the X. Demitri George won it clean. They'll flip it back. Down to 15 to play in the 4th. Looks like we may have overtime coming. Not ready to begin overtime. It is 12-12. 4 minutes are up. And Demitri George wins the face-off from the X. 2 goals for him since that final minute of regulation on the game-tying goal by Dylan Donnery. And the Bobcats do control it. Manhattan nearly had possession. Here's Demitri George. George in across the line. Here's George for the win. It clanked off the pipe. And now one is fired in a little bit high.